Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Red Sea podcast. This is Dennis, as always, on a post midnight show, weirdly, early enough. But I really felt like we had to immediately come on and talk about this one, as we saw our last Champions League game in we don't know how long yet, hopefully not as long as last time. And I'm thankfully on the very few positives of the day, even though I feel like today will be a very, very interesting show filled with disagreements because I think I'm the one that's a bit more pissed this time. But before anything begins, how are you, man?
I'm good, man. Yeah, like you said, it was bittersweet, I guess. I think there are some positives, but not knowing how long it's going to be until we're back, I think that's kind of the biggest concern for everybody right now. But hopefully, we can focus up on the league, and it's not that long of a wait.
Yeah, for sure. It's also the last show in which I look like a homeless man. Yeah, that's that's a good thing. But yeah, I think we start off hot per se, and I think we start off with the thing that annoyed me the most, and we sort of agree, sort of disagree with this, as we've talked about, as we always talk about during the game. You all know how much because I am prefacing this because I know I'm getting torched if this goes up, especially clip wise. You know how much I praise Mendilibar, how much I love Mendilibar as a coach. I openly and will always believe that he's our best coach. As who had said it, I don't even remember. You'd seen the comment as well that even if he lost every game from now until the end of his contract, he's still our greatest coach ever, and I still agree with that. But I don't think it's as much an exaggeration to say that this was one of, if not his worst approached game. Like, not even managed. I don't think he made that many mistakes managing wise, like throughout the game. He was a little late on the subs, but we've seen way worse from him. He brought on the right people at the right time. Even Scipione, which I did disagree with him bringing on Scipione, and we'll talk about it. But in hindsight, he had more chances than Taremi at the end of the game. So there's not really that much to say on that. But seeing that starting 11 that left us all in quite a bit of a shock. Someone wrote as a comment, someone wrote me that Merry Christmas, and I couldn't, I was still in too much shock to laugh about it. I'm just going to lay out the simple question of what? Like, what did he see? Like, how did we get to 8 defensive players?
I mean, I said it before the game. I understood the vision initially, right? And I think to a degree what he did was effective at disrupting what Leverkusen did last week. I think it was fine to approach like up till 45. I had no problems with anything Mendilibar did. I think it was logical to try and keep the game close to head into the second half. My issue was that approach didn't change. We did not make any attacking changes towards the end of the game. And when I say we didn't make any attacking changes, all of our attacking changes were like for like. We were taking off a winger for a winger. We were taking off a striker for a striker, literally until the 90th minute when he put Clayton on for Danny Garcia, I believe. That's the issue, the frustration, at least in my opinion, because I understand wanting to keep it close. I understand being pragmatic. You need to be able to do that. We knew that this was going to be a difficult ask. And I can understand why you would not want to just let the game get away from you quickly. I mean, we can look at what happened in the Newcastle Karabakh game today. I mean, that tie was over before they got there, and then it was doubly over within 6 minutes because Newcastle scored a couple of goals. I understand wanting to avoid that, and we did. But when you get into the second half, and when you've been giving Leverkusen all the issues that you've been giving them, right? We made this match very difficult for them. There was several points where they were having to time waste in the second half because it was so nervy that the crowd was going very quiet at certain points. That's when you need to be able to switch it up, and that's when you need to be able to take the game by the scruff and say, listen, we've shown that we can compete with this team. We've shown that we can disrupt them. Now's the time to try to go for it. You know, I said I would have rather lost 1-0 or 2-0 again going for the match than a 0-0 when we didn't. And I really do place the blame on Mendilibar because I think the effort from the players today was basically to a man fantastic. I really didn't have any issues with anybody. Certain players were better than others, but collectively, I thought the effort was very good today. I thought that we played hard enough to get something from this match. But what are you supposed to do when Zelson's running by himself? You know, what are you supposed to do when you are only playing with one winger for most of the match? That's the issue, and that's the problem. So, you know, that's our shared frustration with Mendilibar is he correctly said that we have surpassed expectations already, and we both agree with that. But at the same time, you still have to be able to believe and at least try to see if you can take a step further. And my disappointment today is that it didn't seem like Mendilibar really wanted to try and put it out there. It didn't seem like he wanted to take the risk. It seemed like he was happier to draw 0-0 than lose 1-0 and try to go for it. So that was my frustration, and I agree. I think it is his worst setup that he's put out. It really seemed like he didn't think that we had a chance today.
And I'll come in as the grumpy old man around the corner, and I'll say that I did have a slight issue with some players, not all of them. Like, for example, Zelson, I think once again today was absolutely unbelievable. I think you said it as well, that Zelson deserved a goal from this tie, or an assist or something. He deserved something from these two games. He was unbelievable, but he was desperately alone on the attack. I'm not gonna dig into Chiquinho that bad, even though he was nullified like for a majority of the game. I don't know if he was hurt after a point. You're the one that pointed that out. I didn't see anything at all.
It looked like he got a knock. I mean, he was playing out of position. To a certain degree, what can you really expect?
Exactly the point I'm building towards, that he was playing completely out of position, not even just switching in between that usual just change of positions constantly on that 4-2-3-1. I think I only saw him on the wing. I think I consistently saw him out on the left, which he couldn't really do much again. But the man that couldn't do something, and he didn't, is Taremi. I've said this before. I'm probably getting extremely annoying, but I feel like it's getting worse. Taremi cannot start for Olympiacos. He cannot start for Olympiacos. He's too slow. Taremi is the perfect player to come off the bench and cover Ayoub El Kabi, as he has most of his contributions, like per 3 goals and 1 assist. I think, if I'm not completely mistaken, he has most contributions off the bench. It's the frustration that we talked about. I feel like the frustration that Ayoub had last time, this time it was Zelson. And Zelson had even more rights to be frustrated with no one being there to help him. I mean, that's on Danny Garcia as well, because the moment I saw Zelson getting triple marked and Danny just walking back, that annoyed me a bit too much. But I'm not gonna dig into Garcia because after like 20 minutes, half an hour, he really did pick it up. If anything, it was him covering Mouzakitis rather than Mouzakitis covering him, which is the usual side in these games. But yeah, attackingly, we were awful. And that showed immediately, right? Andre Luis comes on and Ayub El Khabi comes on, and the game just flicks for 30 minutes. Then the other problem that showed up, we couldn't finish a goddamn chance. And again, I mean, excuse me for not counting the Panetolikos. But apart from that game, we've been worryingly harmless in general. And I'm not expecting like 7 goals against Leverkusen. Like, no, duh. But aside from the header at the end, which was very unlucky to be blocked. Not that it would have changed anything, but it was very unlucky to be blocked. The 2 chances I'm pointing out, with the first one being way more of a problem, in my opinion, than the second one. The first one is the only mistake that Zelson made in the game, in which, of course, Dan Garcia intercepts a pass, and Zelson takes about 3 business days to control the ball. But sadly, that's in Zelson's game. We knew that. I'm not really good. I wouldn't really point this chance out if it wouldn't have changed half of the game, if it was controlled properly. And the other chance, which is more worrying to me as an effort than where it ended up, is the mistake by, let me actually check out his name again. I cannot remember this man's name, Blaswitz. Okay. By Blaswitz, that the ball ended, I think it was straight to Santiago Ese. And I would have honestly taken just an Ese volley, and even if it went high or wide, I would have taken that into an open net. But suddenly, we went from a counter with the 2 center backs and an out-of-position keeper and a free shot, seemingly, to an offside call. No one even attempted to shoot. First, Santi, who, again, I'm not that mad at, but I really don't get why he wouldn't just go for it. And we are talking about Santiago Ese, who has felt more threatening the past few months than his whole Olympiacos career in front of goal, who's almost scored, who attempted a bicycle kick. Like, come on, it's not a confidence issue, right? I mean, Scipioni took like 3-4 shots from long range and almost scored 2. So I really don't know why Ese didn't shoot. Zelson, and then probably the worst thing in that play between Mouzakitis and Zelson, well, Mouzakitis just passes it back to Zelson before he could cover himself again, and the attack just dies. So, except from the adaptability issue that we've talked about many times, and it's showing up again, I really feel like we are, again, as I said, worryingly harmless.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a confidence issue in general with this group, but I think lately it is. I think we've had a tough run in, and
It really depends on the player. Like it could be for Zelson, for example. Zelson is playing his best football yet with us.
but for players like Santi, like players like Musa, where their first thought is never going to be to shoot it unless things are literally going as best as they possibly can. That's just not the kind of players they are. So when you're in a slump, guys are going to revert to their like base operating system, I guess is the analogy I would draw. It goes back to how we set up and how we approach this match. I mean, at any given time, we maybe had 2 or 3 players on the pitch who were shoot first, who were always looking at goal when they touched the ball. I mean, that's part of the problem. You know, you can criticize the individual decisions, and those are, it's valid. Like again, that goes on the players, but at the same time, you know, both of those, well, not both those. The first one happened in the first half. That second one, and there were some other half chances in the second half. You know, players not getting on the end of. I think Zelson had 2 different balls into the middle of the box that missed every defender, and basically either just ended up going out for a corner or going not for corner, goal kick, or going to the other side.
I think one of them that you're thinking about is Rodinez, the one that just flew to the other side, and the one from Dan Garcia that just even again that's a chance as well. You bringing it up. There's Danny probably hitting the best cross of the game, like no one realizing, and we had 2 players in the box. I really can't name who they were. They didn't realize either. How do you get caught out as much as the defenders marking you?
I mean, it just seems like in general attacking, and it's not just this match, it's that past month damn near, it's just been constant, you know, disconnection. Like there's just something's off. And again, part of it's probably a confidence thing. And you know, who knows? I mean, we don't want to get into theories too much, but you know, you mentioned it earlier, you know, why did Danny Podense get left off the squad today? Is there something going on there? You hope not, but you never know. So it is concerning, but at the same time, you know, I hope the fact that we literally have nothing else to worry about at this point other than the league. I really, really hope that this can be like a big reset for this group, because we're also going to have an advantage over basically everyone else that we're going against other than Leverkusen.
I don't see PAOK going through, which is worrying, but I don't see PAOK going through.
Maybe. I mean, they're still in the cup, but I guess that's just one match. But you know, at the end of the day, right? Like we're still at a point where everything's in our control, and it really just comes down to us at this point. And that's, you know, that's where you need your manager to step in, but also, you know, as the players, and like we talked about a couple weeks ago or last week, whatever it was, this is where you need your leaders to step up and say, listen, like it's the new season starts right now. We're 2 points behind Ike. I mean, we are still, despite all the troubles and the problems, we're still perfectly positioned to be able to do what we need to do. It needs to be a reset, and hopefully it can also be a reflection, you know, as we kind of transition this. Like I hope that at the end of this, despite the frustrations we have, despite the fact that we definitely could have put a better foot forward, this was still a very respectable campaign. I mean, first season back in the Champions League for 5 seasons, we made it to the knockouts. That team that just eliminated us, we played them 3 times and we kept 2 clean sheets. I mean, literally it came down to 2 very bad minutes in the second half of one game. That's the reason we're out of Europe. You know, it is what it is. I think to a certain degree, whatever mental thing is going on with this group right now, like it literally just needs to you put out of your head, because we're not in a bad position, and all things considered, any disappointment we have from this campaign, I don't understand, because I think all things considered, we more than achieved what we needed to. The fact that we can sit here and be frustrated about the fact that we didn't go for a match more, that's self-explanatory.
Yeah, that shows enough. That shows enough, and it's exactly what I wanted to preface as well. I'm not necessarily even mad about the result. Like, we got, as you said, another clean sheet against Leverkusen. We got a draw away against a team that's genuinely probably even going to advance, because they probably don't beat Bayern, but they probably do beat Arsenal, with how Arsenal are just fighting tooth and nail to keep City away at the league. I think they'll be too focused on that to even think about Champions League. We faced a wonderful team, and we were in the Champions League knockouts. Like, that alone, we fought in the Champions League knockouts, and we really didn't. You can't really go on and say that we got embarrassed.
That was one of the things that's one of the things I said after the match. We played 10 Champions League matches this season. We played Real Madrid, we played Barcelona, we played Arsenal, we played Bayer Leverkusen, who, by the way, I would argue over the past 3 seasons have been a top 10 team in Europe. I don't even think that's a ridiculous claim to make.
I mean, you don't have to argue that. UEFA agree. I think that 9th right now.
Yeah, I mean, this was the level of competition we played. And the only match where you can even begin to argue that we got embarrassed was Barcelona. And that was even unfair. We shouldn't have been down to 10 men. I mean, that match, I would say you write that one off as a blip, and it was. We played all these other teams, and our worst defeat was a couple of 2-0s against two top 10 teams in Europe.
Leverkusen 8-7 at home earlier in the season. And this Champions League was insane. And the fact that we did actually go on and qualify for the knockouts after so many years away is nothing but a testament to how great this team can be. But again, just to keep it a bit more realistic, because we're both the proudest. Everyone should be the proudest. But now it's make or break. You need to... How many games are left? 4 for the playoffs?
I think we have 5.
We do?
I think
we do not have a game less. That's for
You're
sure.
Right. We do have 4. We have 4, and I think PAOK have 5. That was what I was mixing.
PAOK do have 5, yes. PAOK need to play Kifissia, I'm pretty sure. Which they will. Absolutely. Dismantle. I have no doubts about that. But before I get into some more general talk about today in the Champions League, you're facing 2 teams that can't lock down a league. That, again, not to just underestimate what we've done, but with some of the BS that we've pulled, we really shouldn't be this close. I'm not saying we should be out of it, but PAOK couldn't beat AEK. PAOK dropped points against Larissa. AEK, I'm sure, have dropped some ridiculous points somewhere. AEK couldn't beat us when we probably played our second worst game of the season, where this whole slump began at their home. I've said this many times. I've said this talking about every Olympiacos department, I'm never going to count out Olympiacos from anything knockouts, especially a title, whether that's league, cup, any European title or anything, solely because of this. Because no buds in Greece compares to this. Nothing. And you all can clip me, you all can bookmark me or whatever. I'm pretty sure that by quarterfinals of both competitions, everyone's out of Europe. I'm more than sure. Like,
maybe not.
Ike.
I think Ike have a suit. Let me look at who their tree has. I think Ike has a.
They should walk to the final. They should. They really should. But it's Ike.
Because they could get Noah next. I mean, if they get Noah, then sayonara.
Exactly my point. You're talking about an FC Noah that's 3 times the team it was when they lost like a few seasons ago. Right?
Last season. It was last season, wasn't it?
Last season, yeah. It was the summer and I'm completely confused. You're talking about a Noah that's going to probably knock out, is it Crystal Palace? Someone beat Crystal Palace. Alkmaar. Yeah, that random Croatian team beat Crystal Palace.
They drew Crystal Palace. 1-1.
Oh, yeah, 1-1. I forgot Crystal Palace has equalized. But still, you're talking about a team that should walk their way to the final. But once again, you're talking about a team that's going to prove that whenever they pipe up, they get humbled. And people are forgetting what Olympiacos does in the playoffs, usually. And as much as I would love for Leverkusen to have gone to 4th, even if they don't, even if worst case scenario happens and Pana do grab 4th, it's going to be even funnier when we suddenly turn into prime Barcelona and go completely insane, because I'm sure that we will. I'm still going to die on the hill of saying this. Half of the league is going to be decided in 2 matches against PAOK at home. If you beat PAOK at home, you leave them 3 points behind you, even if they win the game in hand. Even if they do, they're 3 points back. And they're basically out of the league. Right? And I'm sure Ike are going to slip up somewhere.
They probably, most realistically, will have 4 more matches to play than we will. And again, like you said earlier, it's Ike. I mean, how many times have we seen
they are barely winning now. They're barely winning now.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have we gone into the playoffs with the league tight, with the top 3 teams separated by 5 points or less, and then by the time it's over, Olympiacos won the league by 12 points. I mean, again,
we've gone into the playoffs like with some like -5 from first place, and we've swept the playoffs.
And we might even enter the playoffs top of the league. I mean, that's not even out of the question, in my opinion.
For sure. If we beat PAOK, for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
because I am getting into a ladder here, to keep it like a bit more realistic. If we lose to PAOK for a 3rd time in the season, like, yeah, we don't really deserve to call ourselves like favorites, to just throw a coin on both sides. But I think we will beat PAOK. I really think, especially now, I think we will beat PAOK.
I mean, we'll be PAOK's 3rd game in 6 days. I mean, And though, I mean, fourth game in 10 days if you count Delta on Thursday.
I also think that PAOK will lose on purpose. I really do. I mean, I can case in point. He started his rotational defense the first leg. He won't. I'm not saying that PAOK will just throw away Europe. They want the double this year, and that's clear. That's been clear. And I think he'll go all in for that. That's exactly why. That's a second reason why I'm saying that if we beat PAOK in like 2 or 3 Masters, whenever it is, if you completely deflate the confidence they built up all season, because they beat you twice, and I really don't care if one was in the cup, like that reason more to not have lost. But that's a different story now. They'll come into the game with confidence, a lot of it, and I'm pretty sure they'll have the best derby record this season. I'm sure we have the worst, and I'm sure Pana's third. I don't know who's 1 and who's 2.
Panathinaikos might be worse. I mean, PAOK has beaten Panathinaikos twice in the past month.
I mean, Panathinaikos is not worse than us because they beat us. The record.
Fair, but that might be their only win. I'm looking. Well, okay, they beat PAOK.
I think they beat PAOK, and I think they've also beat AEK once, or they drew with AEK. I don't know.
Maybe,
but I mean, yeah, still, PAOK's coming in with confidence,
and if you completely. If you beat them, they play their daddy Olympiacos next, who might beat them 4-1 again if we beat them. So
I forgot Olympiacos plays Panathinaikos and then PAOK. Good God, this team doesn't have it easy to end off this season.
But I mean, they've already destroyed PAOK once this year, so they could do it again.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've told you, I think they're beating Pan as well, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Really. Back in a bit. I want to talk about someone specifically with which we kind of agree, kind of disagree on, and that's Andre Luiz, of course. I really like the guy. I really, truly do. As a winger, he's super talented. He's super talented. But it's like watching a Zelson rerun of the first season.
I mean,
he's going to go.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I mean, I think part of the reason why I don't want to get too harsh on him, like I've seen some people doing online, like you've seen some people doing online. I mean, he even played a full 90 for us yet? I don't think he has. If he has, it's one of the matches that I missed. You can very clearly see that there's a player there. And like you said, it does remind you a lot of Zelson. And what did people think about Zelson even last year? I mean, he really, until this season, has been consistently consistently one of our most criticized players, right? You know, to a certain degree, when you have a player that's that talented and a player that is that creative, it takes a lot longer for him to settle in than it's going to take someone else who's either more experienced or has just a much more fundamental game. Andre Luiz is not a fundamental winger. He like you said, he's like Zelson. He is flair. He is pace. He is, technique, and those are really hard skills to translate to a new system. Like it's just going to take time. But like you said earlier, the game changed when he came on. Even if he didn't really have that much of a tangible effect, things got harder for Leverkusen even without that. Just his presence there, just the pace that he brought, and that even goes back to what we were saying about Mendilibar. Look what happens when you play two wingers at the same time. For those 20 minutes, it was beautiful. I mean,
Yeah, and I'm not gonna.
Good.
I'm really not gonna just tear apart Andre Luiz. I don't tear apart players that are performing way, way worse. I just worry that it's a bit of a race in him adjusting and his confidence just dropping off a cliff because he's trying and he's trying and he's frustrated and he can't find teammates, which is a bit on him, a bit on lack of chemistry. I put it on both. And his shots are going wide and he's falling and this and that. I just hope that he adjusts much faster than he stops trying, because I really love his game and I don't want it to really change. And I am with you on saying that with chemistry, with time, and hopefully now that we just have the league with a bit more starts to his name, especially with I don't remember who we play next. Like, what are the?
I believe it's like.
Yeah. You've forgotten.
We play Panathinaikos, PAOK, OFI, and Larissa, and they're all spaced a week apart. He should start every single game except PAOK. And if he plays really well against Panathinaikos, maybe he even starts that match.
I think he starts that match either way. And I think that's how we're going to transition to one of my last few points. You talked about it earlier. I want to talk about it again, but put a different light on it. Danny Podence, of course. The news did come out mid-game that Danny is hurt again. And that's also why he didn't feature on the weekend. He apparently did pick up a knock on the first leg. But that's more worrying to me than if it was something different. Because I think we're at a point where I love the guy. And I've said it many times, he's one of my favorite players ever. I think if this continues, the discussion needs to happen. Like, does he stay? Would it be good to stay, both for him and the club? Can he stay? Like, his injury, and I'm not even calling him a bad player. I'm not gonna just stare into him, because I don't think he's been bad ever since coming back. He's really not been bad. I feel like he just can't keep up that much anymore. And he's constant, because it's not one big long injury. It's just 2 out, 3 in, 1 out, 5 in, 3 out. He can't get into the rhythm that we know he has. And the talent is still there. But it goes to a point that you said last show. Danny has a bit of an attitude problem. And not towards others, towards himself. When he's frustrated with how stuff is going for him, doesn't play like Daniel Podence. And if that keeps going, he'll be even more frustrated. And at this rate, I think it's safe to say that Danny Podence is not first choice at Olympiacos. And again, that's nothing towards the player. He's just getting injured constantly. And I do truly believe that he's unlucky. He's been very, very unlucky with injuries. Because he hasn't caught the dump break the entirety of the season.
And I think
But I think...
Go ahead.
I was just going to finish up with saying that I think that we need to start thinking about it at least. And I don't even want to go into the conversation, oh, what if it's not an injury? I mean, we've seen his injuries pile up. So I do believe that he picked up a knock because it's now 2 games, not 1.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I go back to, and I think that a lot of people seem to forget, he came in like the second or third game of the season. He didn't get a preseason with the club. I mean,
yeah, he also came in from an injury that kept him out like the entirety of the summer, I think.
Yeah, I mean, his whole stay at Al Shabab was weird. I mean, I think leaving after the Conference League was probably the worst thing he ever did for his career because he was on this trajectory and then it went down. So I'm of the opinion that I don't think we should sell him or look to move on from him. I think we should, obviously we're keeping him for this season, but I think we should definitely bring him back to training camp and give him time to get it, firstly a summer off so that he can rest and get right physically, but also so that he can again really get reintegrated with his group because it's difficult to do that in the middle of the season. I mean, we just talked about it with Andre Luis. I mean, he's played with a lot of these players before, but a lot of these guys he did not play with when we won the Conference League. I mean,
it's not that many people left.
I mean, to a degree, I mean, it's a very different team. So again, I think a summer to get right and to really get integrated would be good for him. And then at that point, you see, if he doesn't perform well in preseason, if he doesn't perform well the first, game or two next season, and it just really doesn't look like he is going to fit in anymore, then that's fine, and you move on. But I think the circumstances surrounding him coming back just set him up for this kind of season. I mean, he came in kind of thrust into the middle. He played like 2 days after we signed him again. I mean, he probably didn't even get a training in with his new teammates before he played Olympiacos. So I think that's the biggest part of it. And like you said, the injury luck as well. I mean, those two things are probably correlated. So it's been very unfortunate for him. And like you said, we're of the same opinion of him being he is a modern legend of this club. He's a guy that we've never questioned his love for Olympiacos. I mean, he was sobbing, crying his last match at home before he left. Like that tells you everything. I just think he needs to be able to properly settle back into Olympiacos, and hopefully, a month or two off in the summer will give him some time to get healthy as well.
For now, I'm fully with you. And I hope the space apart in the games right now helps. And he's back immediately, given that the next game is probably the easiest game of the season.
It is. I mean, the easiest was Olympiacos at home. Now we have to go play.
Yeah. I mostly meant the easiest opponent of the season. God, yeah, we have to play Olympiacos away. Olympiacos away is a dramatic game always. I really didn't even process it. Hopefully that's a comfortable win. Like I don't want to play. But yeah, I don't want to be scared by 9-point Olympiacos, but I also fear that we'll see them with their 11 in the box for 90 minutes. So we'll get to that when it's time. The point is that I hope Danny Podence can find his feet and help in the playoffs. I'm just a bit worried. And I'm starting to get a bit worried about his conditioning in general. we'll see. The man that knows best is Mendilibar. That's for sure. And honestly, from me at least, I don't know if you have like a point or two left to discuss, but for today, I think I'm done. I don't think I have to. I mean, we basically covered everything there was to cover about the tie. We talked about the first leg extensively last show, so if you missed that, because for some reason the last show just didn't get pushed out, so I wanted to talk about that. Like the last show is for some reason the worst performing. I don't know if we are shadow banned. I hope we're not shadow banned. But yeah, after you're done watching, if you've reached this point, do go catch the last show as well. And yeah, the floor is yours for whatever else, final thoughts and stuff that you want to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I think we mostly covered it. I guess the last thing I would say is just reiterating again, I'm proud of how we performed as a whole in this return to the Champions League. And I think that we are still in a great position to win the title as we should. So, as much as I hope it's a reset for the team, I hope that it's a reset for a lot of fans as well. I think there's a lot of Olympiacos fans who are acting like the sky is falling, and it's not. We're fine. It's been a rough run, but again, we still have everything in front of us now. We just wrapped up, in my opinion, a very respectable Champions League campaign, and we have 2 months to win the league. So hopefully it can be recentering for everybody, and I'm confident. I think, like you do, I think we'll take care of this and be back in the Champions League next season to be talking about some more European nights without having to wait too long.
Yeah, for sure. And as the team needs to push on and give it a roll to win, so do we. Because they do deserve the uttermost respect and the uttermost support. So yeah, that's about it from us today. That's about it for Olympiacos until the weekend. Now, of course, eyes on the Thursday games for the rest, solely to see if they'll have any further European matches, except from, of course, AEK, that's going to play from the next round. And yeah, you'll probably see me back soon from a long-awaited basketball talk. It's been a minute because for some reason stuff comes up every time when I want to talk about basketball lately. And you'll probably see us on the weekend as usual, Sunday night, Monday night, we'll see, for the usual Super League recap. So as always, thank you.